Starting with the least controversial, Necromantic revolves around a necrophiliac named Rob who works for a street cleaning agency. Rob brings home body parts from his job, leading to a bizarre love triangle between him, his girlfriend Betty, and a corpse. The film is known for its graphic scenes of necrophilia and gore, as well as its exploration of taboo subject matter and extreme sexuality. Number 14 is the 1981 film Absurd. Absurd follows a priest who battles a supernaturally enhanced killer known as Mikos, who is on a murderous rampage in a small town. Mikos, who cannot be killed by conventional means, relentlessly pursues his victims, resulting in a series of brutal and bloody confrontations. The film is known for its graphic violence and intense gore, as well as its surreal and nightmarish atmosphere. Number 13 is I Stand Alone, which was released in 1998. I Stand Alone is a French drama that follows the life of an unemployed butcher, cleverly named The Butcher, who struggles with rage and nihilism in modern-day Paris. The film explores themes of alienation, despair and existential dread as the butcher confronts the consequences of his violent actions and attempts to find meaning in a world devoid of hope. At number 12 we have Scram, released in 1993. Scram, Skia, I don't speak German, but it's a German horror film that follows the disturbed fantasies of a sexually deviant man named Lothar Scram. As Scram's there's too many of this in here, lies dying from a head wound. He reflects on his life, recounting his violent and perverse fantasies, including his obsession with his neighbour, a prostitute named Maria. This film, known for its disturbing imagery and exploration of taboo subject matter, includes graphic violence and sexual content. Number 11 we have Man Behind the Sun. Man Behind the Sun is a Hong Kong historical horror film based on true events. The film depicts the atrocities committed by the Japanese Imperial Army's Unit 731 during World War II, including human experimentation, biological warfare, and performing operations on prisoners of war who are still alive. The film is infamous for its graphic and disturbing depictions of violence and torture, as well as its controversial subject matter. Quickly before we get into the top 10, if you're enjoying this video, I'm still a new channel, so a like and subscribe will help me a lot. Thanks. So now in number 10 we have Cannibal, which was released in 1977. Cannibal is a Spanish-Italian exploitation film that tells a twisted love story between an ex-Nazi surgeon and a young woman. Set in a remote Spanish village inhabited by cannibals, the film follows the doctor's descent into madness as he becomes increasingly obsessed with his captive and indulges in acts of depravity and cannibalism. As you can imagine, Cannibal is notorious for its graphic violence, explicit sexual content and controversial subject matter. Now at number 9 we have Grim Reaper, which was released in 1980. Grim Reaper is an Italian horror film that was banned in several countries due to its graphic and disturbing content. The film follows a group of tourists who become stranded on a remote island inhabited by a cannibalistic killer. There's a lot of cannibals on this area of the list. As the group is hunted down one by one, they are subjected to brutal and gruesome deaths at the hand of the deranged killer. Grim Reaper is infamous for its extreme violence, including scenes of cannibalism and dismemberment. Following on with the horrific theme of this area of the list, we have Cannibal at number 8, which was released in 2006. So it's the same name as number 10, but it is actually a different film. Cannibal is a German horror film inspired by the true story of German cannibal Armin Meiwes. The film follows a man named Andreas who advertises online for someone willing to be killed and eaten. When a willing participant named Carl responds to his ad, Andreas embarks on a disturbing and grotesque encounter that culminates in acts of extreme violence and cannibalism. At number 7 we have Guinea Pig 1, Devil's Experiment, which was released in 1985. The first instalment of the infamous Guinea Pig film series, Devil's Experiment is a Japanese shockumentary that presents a series of extreme torture scenarios. The film follows a group of sadistic individuals who subject a young woman to a series of brutal and sadistic experiments, including mutilation, dismemberment, and ultimately murder. Devil's Experiment is notorious for its graphic and disturbing content, including scenes of extreme violence and gore. At number 6 we have Irreversible, which was released in 2002. Irreversible is a French thriller told in reverse chronological order. The film follows two men, Marcus and Pierre, as they seek revenge after the brutal sexual assault of Marcus's girlfriend. As the story unfolds backwards in time, the audience is confronted with the harrowing events that led to the assault and the devastating consequences of the characters' actions. Irreversible is notorious for its portrayal of violence and its controversial use of a 9-minute sexual assault scene. Okay, number 5 is probably one of the most well-known films on this list, and that is The Human Centipede, the first one, released in 2009. The Human Centipede is a Dutch horror film that follows the story of a mad scientist named Dr. Joseph Heiter, who kidnaps 3 people and surgically connects them mouth to anus, creating a grotesque human centipede. The film explores themes of obsession, power, and the degradation of humanity as the victims are subjected to unimaginable suffering. And what beats The Human Centipede to number 4? The Human Centipede 2, released in 2011. The Human Centipede 2 is a sequel to the original film that takes the premise to even more extreme and disturbing levels. The film follows a mentally unstable man named Martin who becomes obsessed with the first film and decides to create his own 12-person human centipede. As Martin goes to increasingly gruesome lengths to realise his twisted fantasy, the film descends into a nightmarish exploration of depravity and sadism. Okay, let's move on from The Human Centipede now into number 3 with I Spit on Your Grave, which was released in 1978. I Spit on Your Grave, also known as Day of the Woman, is an exploitation film that follows the story of a young woman named Jennifer Hills who is brutally sexually assaulted and left for dead by a group of men. After surviving the ordeal, Jennifer seeks brutal revenge against her attackers, delivering graphic and bloody justice in a series of gruesome and cathartic acts of violence. I Spit on Your Grave has many scenes of sexual violence and is controversial because of its portrayal of vengeance in this really graphic manner. Okay, at number 2 we have Cannibal Holocaust. You know it's not going to be good when it's called that. Released in 1980, Cannibal Holocaust is an Italian cannibal film that follows a group of documentary filmmakers who disappear in the Amazon rainforest. When their footage is recovered, it reveals their descent into violence, including sexual assault, murder, and the slaughter of animals. This film is incredibly controversial due to the fact that it included actual animal cruelty. Okay, thanks for making it all the way down to number 1 now. With the most controversial film on this list, we have a Serbian film, released in 2010. A Serbian Film is a Serbian exploitation horror film that follows a retired porn star named Milos, who is lured back into the industry for one final film. As he becomes increasingly embroiled in a world of extreme violence, depravity and exploitation, he discovers that the film's producer have sinister intentions that push the boundaries of morality and decency. A Serbian Film is notorious for its graphic and disturbing content, including scenes of sexual violence, child abuse and necrophilia, leading to widespread controversy and censorship, which makes it clear why it's number 1 on this list. Finally, just to let you know, I'm currently making another video just like this, and when it's done, it will be right here, so please subscribe to make sure you don't miss it.